solar panels may not be all that good for the environment. America's growing reliance on solar power may have created a new enemy for environmentalists, a greenhouse gas that's thousands of times more potent than CO2. Greenhouse gas emissions in the U.S. are 82% carbon dioxide. The gas nitrogen trifluoride, or NF3, accounts for only a small margin, but is on the rise. CO2 levels have risen only 5.6% from 1990 to 2015. But levels of NF3 have seen more than 1,000% increase over those same 25 years. This exponential rise has been linked to the manufacturing sector, which uses the chemical to make solar panels, semiconductors, and LCDs. NF3 is mainly used as a cleaning agent to clear away excess silicone. Though mostly eliminated during use, a small percentage is leaked into the atmosphere. It's unclear exactly how much has been leaked, but scientists warn that NF3 is highly effective at trapping heat and can remain in the atmosphere for up to 740 years. Scientists warn that NF3, when combined with CO2 and other greenhouse gases, could lead to a climate problem, especially with NF3 emissions rising not only in the US, but in growing solar markets in Asia as well. With carbon dioxide proving difficult to limit, environmentalists could soon target NF3 in their quest to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. Say no to safe spaces on YouTube. Support TomoNews at patreon.com/TomoNews. Global warming is here and affects all of us. Keep watching for more about climate change. U.S. unlikely to meet Paris Climate Agreement targets. A recent study revealed that the U.S. is highly unlikely to fulfill its greenhouse gas emission targets set at the Paris climate talks last year. The U.S. has pledged to reduce greenhouse gas emissions by 28% from 2005 to 2025. However, Ars Technica reports current and proposed emissions policies would still only reduce the rate by about 4.8%. A report published in Nature Climate Change suggests the U.S. needs to phase out coal and natural gas power plants more aggressively and increase the use of renewable energy and electric cars. The report also suggests the U.S. transform oil and gas-based heating systems to electric systems in order to attain its emissions goals. UN studies estimate average world temperatures are expected to rise by 3 degrees Celsius or more by 2100. U.S. President Barack Obama called Wednesday a historic day when a global agreement to combat climate change was signed by European nations such as Germany, France, and Austria. The agreement will formally start on November 4th.
California introduces laws to restrict climate pollutants. The state of California has signed off on legislation to clamp down on greenhouse gas emissions, including black carbon from diesel trucks and methane gas from cow flatulence. Black carbon is a chemical emitted by diesel trucks that contributes to high rates of lung conditions, such as asthma. Under the new laws, black carbon emissions stemming from diesel trucks will be reduced by 50%. Dairy farmers have been instructed to reduce methane emissions from the state's 5.15 million cows by 40% by the year 2030. Farmers will receive funding from the state to invest in methane digesters, which will convert the pollutants from manure into energy that will be sold to electrical utilities. Opponents of the new laws argue that these reductions will hurt manufacturing in California and could force the industries out of state, with thousands of jobs threatened in the process. However, California Governor Jerry Brown insists these firm mandates will result in the development of better technologies and a boost for the economy.
A new study revealed that earthquakes might contribute to global warming by causing the release of a greenhouse gas called methane. An international team of scientists have estimated that enormous quantities of methane are locked in icy structures called hydrates on the floors of the continental shelves of the Earth. Methane is a greenhouse gas, 20 times more potent than carbon dioxide, but less abundant in the atmosphere. According to Nature Geoscience, scientists discovered that an earthquake that happened in 1945 in the North Arabian Sea caused a fracture in methane sediments, which caused the release of more than 7 million cubic meters of methane into the sea and into the atmosphere. According to the Daily Mail, chemical signs of a large-scale methane release were shown by analysis of North Arabian Sea sediments in 2007.
Say no to safe spaces on YouTube. Support TomoNews at patreon.com/TomoNews.
Scientists in Toronto have discovered a potent new greenhouse gas, which they claim is the most radiatively efficient warming chemical found to date. The new greenhouse gas, known as perfluorotributylamine, PFTBA, is 7,000 times more powerful than carbon dioxide at warming the Earth. The chemical does not occur naturally. It has been in use by the electrical industry since the mid-20th century. Concentrations of PFTBA in the atmosphere measures 0.18 parts per trillion in the Toronto area, while carbon dioxide measures 400 parts per million, meaning carbon dioxide is still the main driver of man-made climate change. Unlike carbon dioxide, which can be absorbed by carbon sinks such as forests and oceans, PFTBA has an extremely long lifespan and remains in the atmosphere for around 500 years. It can only be destroyed in the upper atmosphere. Scientists also warned that the chemical could pose a threat to the climate in the future, as it is not being regulated by any existing climate agreement.
Reducing carbon emissions could prevent more than 295,000 deaths in the U.S. The gradual effects of global warming have mostly failed to motivate many into making life-altering changes in the here and now. But what if we told you there's evidence that acting now might eliminate some pretty dire short-term consequences of climate change? According to a team of researchers from Duke University and the NASA Goddard Institute for Space Studies, slashing carbon emissions won't just reduce global warming, it could also prevent tens of thousands of premature deaths. A 2 degrees Celsius increase in atmospheric warming is usually considered the threshold at which the changes wrought by climate change, such as drought, flooding, declining fish populations, and the spread of tropical diseases, will become more than humans can handle. The two largest sources responsible for climate change in the United States are the transportation and energy sectors. In a research paper published in the journal Nature, researchers modeled what would happen if emissions in both sectors were significantly reduced by 2030. The study showed reduced emissions in both sectors would be enough to put the U.S. on the path of staying under the 2 degrees Celsius threshold. By 2030, under this cleaner energy scenario, as many as 175,000 premature deaths would be prevented in the U.S., and another 22,000 lives saved every year after. Under a cleaner transportation scenario, as many as 120,000 premature deaths in the U.S. were averted, with another 14,000 people saved each following year. The nationwide health benefits of reducing carbon emissions would total around $250 billion a year, which far exceeds the cost of implementing new, cleaner policies.